Hi, Moguls. It's Dr. T here, and we're doing an important Mogul upgrade today, which is going to bring you from where you are in your leadership capacity into a higher level Mogul reality, which means powerful, influential, wealthy person that positively contributes to humanity. Moguls also build empires and dynasties and live their full potential of purpose, elevating humanity, transforming society, leaving a legacy. And this is the multi-million dollar level upgrade that we are doing. And today, our focus is all about awakening the giant within so you can do the Mogul Playbook for gaining freedom. Now let's connect with that. Let's tune all the way in so the upgrade actually goes into you, reprograms you, clicks in, and that's why you need to stay tuned. All right, everyone. So let's talk about awakening the giant within. Now, it's important to understand that why we need to do this is because, for the most part, if you've been in this world, living wherever you're living, and you are anything other than one of the more powerful, wealthy, top elite people of the highest power structures of the world who are running everything, pulling all the strings, making all the rules, and being the masters of reality, and basically being in charge of all the rest of us. If you're anything other than that, you are in an ascension to become a master of reality, to become a top mogul of your empire, dynasty, your reality, and your destiny. And so, what has likely happened to you is you have been in the programming of the masses, and the programming for the masses that is done by the most powerful elite people who want to stay in more power, and they are playing the video game at the top level. One of their greatest ways of playing the video game is to keep playing by a different rule book and keep the process going that benefits them and also keeps you small, keeps you in anything other than a mogul reality. And the entire system, if you will begin to notice it, is designed to keep you at a certain level. It is designed to keep you small. It is designed to keep you just fitting in and belonging. And somehow, somewhere, we've made belonging some big, precious prize. Like belonging, right? Like, you ever hear anyone in their life be like, that was my life's big goal? Like at the end, I wish I just belonged more, right? But they've got you doing that. They've got you following the herd, the sheep, the system. And they have succeeded for generations and generations while they have taught themselves, their children, their heirs, their successors to play the game of reality at a big level, i.e., being a mogul, being an empire builder, a dynasty creator. And that's just normal. And when you check out these people, having trained them and worked with them in my dynasty maker program and empire maker programs, they do seem very normal. They are running very big realities, and quite honestly, they're a lot less stressed than the people that are running much smaller realities. But the difference is they were programmed to be empire builders, dynasty creators, big reality makers by doing a little effort that is very potently intentional to create a bigger reality that's managed in a way that is very simple. And you were likely programmed to go to school, fit in, stay in line, not be different, belong, shrink, don't speak up, don't make noise, don't be expansive, Don't be too successful or people won't like you. Don't be too amazing. Don't be too different. Don't think critically. Don't stand out from the crowd. And even though all of that sounds utterly ridiculous as I say it, we all know that it's true. And it is part of the game of reality where people play the game at a whole different level, where they're expansive. They're doing all these amazing things. They're impacting millions of lives, creating things, having all the fun, innovating, investing, collaborating as friends. They're friends who just decide, let's just make trillions of dollars together. And you've been programmed to stay small, shut up, be dysfunctional in your families and in yourself, be addicted, be distracted, be in debt, fight with each other, compete with each other while they are literally collaborating with each other on tons of projects and they're playing a completely different game. You have been taught to stay small. You have been taught to live small. You have been taught that so that you won't compete with the big moguls, but that's all over now. So you got programmed to be small, which is why all the things you need to do are overwhelming because you're contracted and your energy is small. And even when it gets big and you start to feel your mojo, it's programmed for everyone to smack down and say, oh, who does she think she is? Oh, who does he think he is? And then they just start clawing at you like the crabs in the bucket of the prison slave system that the mass population is in. You were not programmed to awaken the giant within, but that's what we're doing with this upgrade today because that giant, that powerful being is in there and I'm here to awaken it. That being that came into this world before it got its hands on you and had your family program you into being small, right? Because it's a top down thing. We're in charge. We're the big cheese. We do whatever we want. We have our own rules. We collaborate. We got all these backdoor policies. We got a whole different world going on. If you're smart enough and savvy enough, we'll eventually let you into it. But otherwise, you're part of that group, and we're going to keep distracting you and telling you this is the game you're playing. And then we get you to be crabs in the bucket, pulling each other down. So even when you start to awaken, you start to be big and you start to roar, people are like, who she thinks she is? I know exactly how it is. In the time frame where I did all these talks and did a TED talk and launched all my books, and oh my God, it really threw people off. And just like, oh, she doesn't care about us anymore. It's like, what do you think all this is? What do you think my whole life's about? It's caring. But we've got to know that it's programmed into the system that everybody gets everyone to be going along with it. And if anybody starts to branch out, a small segment of people will be like, amazing, go girl, go guy. Everyone else, who they think they are? Oh, they think they're, and then they start gossiping and they're just like tearing your ass down because that's the only way they rise up. So you're here to awaken the giant within and say, sorry, people, I am expanding. I am going to connect with the being that came into this world who was roaring fiercely, like call it crying, but we came into this world powerful, big lungs, big voice, big energy. Babies are like dominating reality. And then we like make them just adjust to be this small, quiet thing. And then we say, oh, you have to do all this big, amazing stuff in this new world where you now have to go from being exhausted as slave labor in the workforce to being a technology genius. But we're going to just shrink you down to here. And no wonder you're exhausted and your only option is to go escape with some alcohol or food or whatever it is. So we're here to awaken the giant within. And we're here to get the Mogul Playbook open because you know that you cannot create the bigger reality with more resources, more wealth, more capacity, more time, more bandwidth, and more ability to learn, transform, grow, ascend, learn, gain massive intelligence, and keep neuroplastically expanding your capacity for new multi-dimensional reality by being this shrunk down little squirt that's like a worker with a job, or a girl or a boy or a man or a woman or a husband or wife. None of this has any high frequency energy in it, right? We're here to be moguls, magnats, tycoons, barons, captains of industry, and kings and queens, princes and princesses of reality. This is what we're here to do. And that's what the other group is doing. This small minority of people who's running all reality, they are literally templating how reality works. They're like, there's a teeny amount of us that are in charge, and we're running all of you. That actually tells you how reality can actually be run that way, that efficiently. They're running an empire, a dynasty called the world, and these very powerful elite people that have all the power because they were taught the playbook to go toward freedom. And imagine if we said, oh, well, these people are free. But no, we're taught they're wealthy, hate them, don't want to be them. That's another part of the strategy to keep you small. Imagine if we were taught, oh my gosh, these are all the free people. And you'd say, oh, I want to be free too. But we're taught, don't be in your power. Don't be wealthy. Don't want wealth. This is absolutely insane. This is the Hunger Games. Reality is massive. It is the wild kingdom. It is an evolutionary roller coaster ride of reality and a curriculum of being masterfully human and being kings and queens of a dynasty. And you're being taught to be small instead of awakening the giant within, which is your invitation to do so today. You're being taught to get a job, get a skill, get a trade. If it's big, maybe you'll have a profession. Maybe you'll have a career. This is not the language of the giants and the big moguls and magnets and titans of the world, who literally run the world in a lighter, easier flow than you are running your reality that's smaller because you were taught to be small and they were taught to be giants of the world. And then they taught that to themselves, invested in themselves, and they're playing the game of reality at that level while you're just like, oh, I don't like what they're doing and they're in charge. And it's like, that's what you're here to do. You're not here to be distracted by being small. They are taught to be moguls, investors. They're taught mergers and acquisitions and exit strategies and creating new companies with already thinking of selling it with a great exit. All they're taught is a different curriculum. Their programming, it's just like replace one curriculum for the other. One's not harder than the other. Well, one is harder than the other. It's the one that you're doing. One is literally hard work. You're taught hard work. That's not language they use. Smart, intentional, creative, innovative, focused investors. They're trading, they're collaborating, they're strategic alliances and joint ventures. They're utilizing resources in all of these amazing ways. When I think of a client who's got like this system of, they put like a piece of real estate together with a couple of these different financial protocols, and then it makes this whole thing that makes it exponentially more amazingly wealthy. And they're crafts people of reality, of high level reality, of finance, of digital currency, of new paradigms, of new realities. They are forming strategic alliances, and I'm here to invite you to awaken the giant within and get this Mogul Playbook open and going and get it into your system. All right. These folks are taught something different. The Mogul Playbook needs to be the priority, not because I'm sitting here saying, you have to want something that you may not want, but because we are in a new world that keeps getting more and more requiring you to be more conscious, more powerful, more creative, more influential. We are in the age of the influencer and the creator. We are coming into a new era of reality where our genius will be exponentially needing to grow and our brilliance will be required. There is no capacity to stay with the dumbed down education, and I use that word loosely, that most people in the mass population received. Meanwhile, the moguls of the world that you're invited into to make that a priority are constantly educating themselves. They're constantly educating each other. They are not sitting around gossiping about stupid bullshit in each other like I have seen in my life with people that I came up with and experiences that I've been in before that are the superficial conversation, the gossip, the nonsense. They are sitting there talking about creating and amazing projects and collaborating. And I'm inviting you to awaken the giant within. They're not, there's time isn't wasted when it can be cultivating something, when they can be learning a new skill, taking in a new piece of technology. They're not distracted over here with some dumb drama of some low level frequency. And that is because they were taught to be giants and you were taught to be a peewee. And I'm inviting you to awaken the giant within and get this Mogul Playbook open. And as I have had the privilege of experiencing life with that mass population education to a certain degree, then adding in, lots more education still of that system with the bachelor's, master's, PhD. It's all still that's of that same vein, but then spending my life literally upgrading constantly and getting to work with people who have literally hundreds of millions of dollars that are creating exponential reality that goes into the billions and goes into multi-generational exponential creation of money, because you get to a certain point that money just keeps creating so exponentially. And it is only those that are taught to be small, and unfortunately, most people were indoctrinated into that, and their families were, and then their families indoctrinated them into this top down small peewee system. But most people are starting from zero every single time a new person is coming in a new generation. When you come into more of a mogul identity, so you can ascend through a mogul reality, you can start the way the moguls do, where they have generations of wealth already there. So their basic level of functioning is there and they can create and innovate. It's a whole different reality. And I'm inviting you to awaken the giant within. I'm inviting you to see where you've been small, where you've been trained and programmed to be small, where you've also allowed yourself to be kept small. I relate to this very much as someone who every time I would try to give an more of expansive viewpoint or feel better about myself or want to course correct something that I thought was low frequency in my relationships, it was just, you know, what you would expect from that programming that is so small, makes people feel so powerless, that they're so sensitive, because when you are programmed to be shrunk down and contracted and compacted, and you're so sensitive, you're traumatized by it. Every little thing is sensitive and reactive and painful and struggle. So when someone's inviting you to upgrade, it can actually be one of the things that really can piss people off. And that is because that smaller self, that lower self, that not self that was programmed in, which I think is absolutely a raw deal, by the way, um, has been programmed into that zone and that reality. And that is why your reality keeps creating itself over and over again, because it's time to awaken the giant within and expand your identity, expand yourself, expand into a new reality that you're invited to ascend into. Make the shift to the Mogul Playbook, leaving behind being one of the crabs in the bucket who is trying to climb out with people grabbing and trying to pull you down, and get that Mogul Playbook of what it is to go toward more power, more expansion, more consciousness, more connection, more collaboration, more strategic relationships, partnerships, alliances, anything and everything you can do to move in the direction of more of the Mogul Playbook. This is the invitation to you, especially right here, right now, where the world is changing in rapid succession, and there is going to be no option for people to be anything other than their mogul self if they want to thrive. Otherwise, I just don't get how people are going to adapt. And it feels to me like the mogul level giant within higher self is a minimum requirement, because whatever our higher self needed to be for this previous era, it's exponentially more. And we've got to get there. And the way to do it, fortunately, is to program ourselves into a different identity. The identity creates the reality. Immerse into the mogul world. And good news is you have this video where you can like and subscribe. And then also there are hundreds of videos of immersing you in mogul transformation and inviting you to awaken. It would be amazing for you to comment and share what you're awakening to and what you're going for as a mogul, and what it is that you want to do to improve yourself and what you need to make that happen, so I can help provide that for you. Please do share this with other people that you know have been made to feel small, need a boost of expansion into the level of a mogul, especially right now. Thanks for all of you for tuning in, taking the $1 million, multi-million dollar upgrade, moguling on up, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.